Hi, I'm Ross Benjamin reporting for the Offshore Gaming Association. That's OSGA.com, your number one source for information on the offshore sportsbook industry. That's OSGA.com. It's time for my weekly edition of my NFL Underdog Picks of the Week. All three of my games go on Sunday. And keep in mind, folks, I'm taping on Wednesday, the 28th of November. So these lines are subject to change depending on when you view this video. Buffalo at Miami is the first game I'm going to take a look at. Buffalo currently a 5-point road underdog according to BetOnline. This is a Bills team that's dominated this series against their AFC East rival by going 7-3 straight up in ATS against the Dolphins over the last 5 years. Buffalo's offense, which was anemic for the better part of the season, has really woken up over the last two games, averaging 32.5 points per game during that time, and also amassing 389 yards of total offense per contest over the last 2 weeks. And their last 7 opponents, Buffalo has held to 156 yards or less passing on 6 of those 7 occasions, and this is a Buffalo defense currently number 2 in the NFL in total defense, and they're going to be facing a Miami team that got out of the gate 3-0, but since that time has lost 6 of their last 8, 4 of their last 5. Their only win over the last 5 games was at home against the lowly New York Jets, who are currently on a 6-game losing streak, and that was by a narrow 13-6 margin, winning touchdown coming by a defensive touchdown for Miami. A lot of value to be had here on the road underdog Buffalo Bills, who are headed in the right direction here against a Miami Dolphins team headed in a opposite direction. I'm going to take Buffalo plus the 5 over Miami. Next game, NFC South matchup, Carolina at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay currently a 3.5-point home underdog at Bookmaker. Tampa Bay has been plagued by turnovers all season long. As a matter of fact, they're minus 21 turnover differential after the first 11 games of the year, and that's horrendous. However, they're coming off a 27-9 home win over San Francisco last week in a game which they failed to commit a turnover. And this is a Carolina team that's gone 0-3 straight up in ATS in their last 3 games, and they failed to force a turnover in any of those contests. So there's a good chance here Tampa Bay might be able to right the ship as far as preserving the football and taking care of the football. And they're also going to be facing a Carolina team that you may be surprised to know has lost 7 of their last 8 road games. Their only win in that sequence came earlier this season at Philadelphia in a game they needed to overcome a 17-0 fourth quarter deficit to win that game 24-17. So not exactly a prerequisite for a good bet on a road favorite, looking at Carolina's failures on the road this year and going back to the late last year as well. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, at home, 11-6, their last 17 at home, and that includes 5-1 against the spread as a home underdog. I'm going to take the Bucks here, plus the 3.5 at home against Carolina. Last game, premier matchup, is the Minnesota Vikings take on the defending AFC East champion New England Patriots. A game will take place in Foxborough, 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. We've seen some line movement here. This line opened at 7. It's down to as low as 5 in some locations. But I'm going to be taking a look at the line at Bovada, which shows Minnesota as a 6-point underdog currently in this contest. Now, the Minnesota defense is starting to look like the Vikings defense that carried them to the NFC Championship game a season ago. Over their last 6 games, Minnesota has allowed 308 yards or less in each one of those contests. As a matter of fact, 5 of those 6 games, they've held opponents to 280 yards or less. The New England defense, on the other hand, has been shaky all season long. You can move the ball on this New England Patriots team, and that's evidenced by them allowing 377.6 yards per game in total offense to the opposition. Minnesota, much better offensively on the road than at home for whatever reason. The Vikings are averaging 28 points per game on the road in 4 road contests this season. This is also a Minnesota team since 2015 that's gone 17-2 straight up after game 4 of the season. And if they're facing an opponent that has a win percentage of 800 or less in those situations, they've gone 15-4 against the spread. And reminding you, New England comes into this contest 8-3, which is less than an 800 win percentage. Minnesota also under Coach Zimmer, 50-22 against the spread in their last 72 games, and that includes 14-4 against the spread as an underdog of 3 or more. That's a quite impressive money-making situation when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings under head coach Zimmer. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings here plus the 6 at New England. Repeating again, Buffalo plus 5 at Miami. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus the 3.5 versus Carolina. And the Minnesota Vikings plus the 6 at New England. My name is Ross Benjamin. You can find me at my website. That's rbwins.com, where I post all the games I personally wager the most money on myself. You pay a little bit to make a lot. That's rbwins.com. You can also contact me direct, 781-571-0299, 781-571-0299. Until the next time, good luck with all your picks.